Hey guys, Fix It John here. We're going to do some tree trimming today, and I went down to the local rental store and rented this nifty lift. It's a SD50. The trees we'll be trimming. We'll be trimming these palm trees. We'll also be taking that branch down right there, and the reason why it's hanging over the roof, and we're getting a new roof, and for insurance reasons we don't want it hanging over the roof and damaging our new roof. Hey guys, Fix It John here. We're going to get this nifty lift unloaded and go in the backyard and do some tree trimming, and I'll show you how to properly prune some camphor trees and oak trees. So let's get this thing started and unloaded. Be using this pole saw here for the hard to reach spots that are too tall. Also have a chainsaw here, and this is my chainsaw, and the neighbor lent me his chainsaw for a backup. So we'll be using these pair of safety glasses and earplugs and headphones. They gave me a harness here, but I don't think I'm going to use it, only because what am I going to hook it onto? If the thing would tip over, I'm going with it strapped to the lift. So, hey guys, Fix It John here. The first thing I like to do before we start cutting is warm our chainsaws up. Choke it once. Right there, I run it on half choke for a few minutes before I heat it up. That way it gets plenty of gas in and lubricates the engine. It's a cold engine. What we're doing here, guys, is we're putting the outriggers out, and the reason why we're doing that is to give the machine stability, and we want it as level as possible so it'll keep from tipping. Okay guys, when you're booming around, you want to make sure you're clear of trees, walls, and houses. We don't want to hit that house, our house right there. So you see those branches that are coming over the house, we could chop them off right there, but we need to keep the tree healthy. We need to chop them back all the way to where the branches originate, and that's back at the branch collar, and I'll show you. And if you see that branch right there, it's right there over the swing. So we don't want to damage that. And what we'll do to mitigate that is I'll chop it like right over there, and it will hang down until it hangs, and then it'll fall straight down on this side of the property. And once we get it on the other side of the fence, it's a lot easier. One more things, guys. You want to be, when you're cutting a branch, you want to be at least as high as the branch is, or higher. That way it doesn't fall down on you and hurt you. When I'm cutting, I like to cut these little branches out of the way so I can see what I'm doing with the big branches, and nothing will fall on me. So I'm gonna. When you're trimming trees, always start with the lowest branch. That way it'll have somewhere to fall. If you start with the top branch and cut it, it won't have anywhere to fall, and then when you cut that branch, it'll all come down on you. So, and like this branch here, when I cut it, I won't want it to swing, because when it falls, it'll swing and hit the fence down here. So what I'll do is I'll give it an undercut and then cut directly over top, because the saw will go through it so quick that it will just fall straight down. Now when I want a branch to swing, let's say it's hanging over the fence and I want it to swing the other way, I'll cut this way just on the top and the branch will swing down, and then if it doesn't fall, I'll hit it again. Pretty much hovering over the fence here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do an undercut on this one, and hopefully it will drop straight down and not hit the fence at all. So let's see what we can do on that one. We have branches over these still, over that one, but we need to finish getting rid of this branch before we attempt to trim the one over it, because it won't land in the spot I want it to land. So it would bounce off this branch. All right guys, here's another branch that's pretty doggone close to the fence. And what I'm gonna do with this one, I'm gonna do another undercut. I probably could go ahead and swing this one, but there's some shrubbery down there that I don't want to damage, so I'll do an undercut here. It'll fall straight down. I may do another undercut over here, because that's a pretty good sized branch. I don't know if my saw will go through it quick enough so it'll fall straight down if I do the both. And like I said, you want to get this brush out of your way before you try to direct any branches in falling the way you want them, because those branches, they can bounce off another branch and they can bounce back on you, so you want to be careful that way. All right guys, in this case I'm a little lower than I should be, but to get the shot, I am far enough away back from it to safely drop this branch without it tipping back on me. Alright, I'm cutting just over the undercut, so it should fall straight down. Cut it right here, and then went through it as quick as I could through the top. That way it doesn't allow it time to think which way it wants to go. So I'm going to go ahead and take it all the way back here to the crotch of the branch, because the next one, I don't want it getting in the way of this. I don't want it getting in the way of this branch that's above. All right, guys, Fix It John. I don't fancy myself as a tree hugger, but if you would leave that tree like that, that is just a total butcher job. And what will happen is you'll get not root suckers, but suckers coming off that branch, and the branch will never heal. It will die back all the way to the trunk, and it's more susceptible to disease and fungus when you leave a branch cut like that cannot ever heal itself. You'll want to cut it back to the branch collar where it can heal itself, and there again, you don't want to add any paint or cement to fill the hole in. And let me show you a technique that if you want the branch to swing in a particular way, If you cut all this side, it will, the bark and the wood will hold the other side and cause it to swing that way. If you want it to swing in this way, you would chop the wood on this side all the way through, and the branch will swing back this way towards the machine. But we don't want to do that. We want to cut the wood, and we're going to leave some wood on this side and the bottom underneath, so it'll have a tendency to swing out and away from us. Cutting a branch, you don't want to poke the end of your bar and chain into that branch while you're cutting, because what can happen is it'll kick back and take your head off. When you're cutting a branch, all chainsaws are equipped with these teeth here. I don't know the proper name for them, but if you can see these grooves here, you want to place your chainsaw up to the branch all the way to those teeth. That's where proper cutting should be done, because those teeth are grabbing into that bark and that limb to keep that chain and that blade from popping back. So when you start cutting a branch, you also want to be at full throttle. Don't pussyfoot with the light throttle, because it'll have a tendency to drag. What'll happen is it'll have a tendency to drag the chainsaw away from you. Same thing with an undercut. If you don't go full throttle, it'll have a tendency to push back on you. So keep that in mind, make a mental note of that, and always be safe when you're operating a chainsaw. Hey guys, Fix It John here. This is the limb that used to hang over our house. And I just, no longer hanging over there. I just wanted to show you where I cut it at. I cut it right here at the branch collar. You can see where, you can tell the branch collar because the bark is usually a little rougher, and that's where it starts to widen out. And you want to cut just above the branch collar. This was a hard one to cut because it was two of them. How you want to cut it. You don't want to leave it like a coat rack or a hat rack. Otherwise the branch will die all the way back to this point and continue to die into the tree. That is that's been properly trimmed. See how the tree has closed in on itself and encapsulated itself to keep pests and insects out. So that's the camphor tree. It's a pretty tree. Some say it's a fast growing tree, some say it's a slow growing tree. It just depends on which article you read. There's a branch right there that's starting to encapsulate itself. So you never ever want to paint a branch that you cut or fill it with concrete, because that will retard the healing process. Hey guys, Fix It John here. That's a better angle of the limb. How much space I left between the branch collar and the cut. Alright guys, on this oak tree here, I trimmed this branch just outside of the branch collar, and that's where it starts to go back down. The branch collar is real thick and usually has a rougher bark on it. So, and that's where you want to trim it. You don't want to trim it out here to where it'll never heal. You want to hit Guys, the branch is cut back to where it originated. It's at the branch collar, and that way the tree can heal itself. And hey guys, Fix It John here. I made a rookie mistake, and what happened was I did an undercut on this branch here, and it pinched down on my bar and chain, so I can't get this out no matter what I do. So I have an extra chainsaw right here, and what I'll do is I'll chop it off right up here, and that'll release the pressure off this saw. And then I have a rope tied to it, so when it falls, the rope will catch it. We're close enough. We're going to put our outriggers out. There's one. Put that other one down. Alright guys, this is what we're going to go after. We're going after these two palm trees here. I used to could get it with a ladder, but they've grown, and I've got a 20-foot ladder, and it's kind of scary on a ladder. That's the branch right there that we've taken off that used to sit on top of the house. So the hood and most of the machine is out that way. And if the hood was right there in the motor, you could do damage to it. So I turned it around and working on it backwards, which is a better way to do it. So this is it. Now these are long branches, so when you cut these palm trees, I like to cut it at the base, and then when it starts to fall, I'll chop it here, because a lot of times if you chop it there by the trunk, cut it at the trunk, it'll hit the ground and bounce towards a house or a car or a roof or just anything. So chop it there, get it to fall, and then I'll chop it like halfway up. That way it doesn't bounce and bounce up and go through a window or something. Now I saved the palm tree for last to cut because it's fibrous and it'll clog my chainsaw up. And I didn't want to have to clean it until I cut it. Like I said, clogged up all the fiber. That's why I waited till last to cut the palm tree. Hey guys, Fix It John here. These are all the branches that I removed yesterday, and they'll just get everything. They do a great cleanup job. So remember guys, this is Fix It John. If this tree trimming video helped you in any way, like and subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.